Are you about to give your first speech, but you're really nervous and you don't want to screw it up? Don't worry, you've come to the right spot, because what I'm going to do today is give you 4 of the most common mistakes that brand new speakers make. And once you know these 4 things, you'll be able to avoid them. Therefore, you're not going to look like a new speaker, you're going to look like someone who is experienced. Hey everyone, my name is Wade Patterson, and my channel is all about impactful communication and the quest to make you a more effective communicator. So if you like this content, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. It would mean a lot to me, and it will help you out in your road to becoming a very impactful communicator. Back to the 4 most common mistakes that brand new speakers make, and mistake number 1 is the ums and the ahs and the so's and the ers and the buts and all of those words that we call filler words or crutch words, which take the place of what could be silence. Let me give you an example. If I were to give a speech and pretend I'm a brand new speaker, I could stand up in front of the group and say something like this. Hey everyone, my name is Wade Patterson, and I'm new to public speaking, and it's something I've been thinking of improving on for a while, and there are so many ums and ahs in that speech that it is distracting to listen to. And the difference, example number 2, would look something like this. Hey everyone, my name is Wade Patterson. I'm new to public speaking, but I'm really excited to take my skills to the next level. In the second example, I didn't use those crutch words. I didn't use or any of those words. Instead, I filled it with silence. And this is easier said than done, because as a new speaker, it feels very awkward to allow silence to happen. It feels very uncomfortable when you're standing in front of a group to pause between sentences. But the truth is, it actually sounds so much more natural to the audience. Whereas with the ums and the ahs, that is what is very distracting. Next time you have the chance to see someone speak and you know that it's one of their first time speaking, count to yourself the number of times they use a crutch or filler word such as or ah, and you'll be surprised. You'll probably be counting on both hands many times over, because it is so common. So if you're able to eliminate this, you are going to be considered a next level speaker right away simply by doing that. I know what you're thinking. How do I actually eliminate that from my speech? My tip for you is to record yourself, just like I'm doing right now. Record a video of yourself speaking, then watch it back and see how many times you said those different filler or crutch words. So often we don't even know that we are saying these words. We just speak and we assume that we are keeping the silence going, but then we listen back to ourselves and we realize how many crutch words we're learning. And the first step to eliminating crutch words is to acknowledge which ones you are using. The second tip, and I have other videos that I talk about Toastmasters, is to consider going to Toastmasters meetings, because in a Toastmasters meeting, they have an ah counter. And it's that person's job to listen for all the ums and the ahs and to keep track of how many times you said those filler words in a meeting. And then at the end, they give their report. And it's really humbling to hear, wow, Wade, you gave 20 ums throughout your speech in today's meeting. My thought is, wow, I had no idea I was saying it that often. I really need to work to improve on those particular things. So recording yourself or potentially attending a Toastmasters meeting and getting advice from peers, those are great ways to ditch the ums and ahs. Mistake number 2 that so many speakers make is the lean or the sway or the holding on to something while they are talking. Right now, as I'm doing this video, I am sitting down, but often as speakers, you will stand up, and it's incredibly common for new speakers to be holding on to something. For example, if they're standing in front of a chair, they will hold on to the back of that chair. Or if they're standing at a podium, they will grip that podium, or they will lean against a wall. Or if there's nothing around them to touch or hold on to, they will sway from foot to foot, back and forth as they talk, and it is really distracting for the audience to watch as they go back and forth like that. If you are mindful of this and you do your best to stand up straight with your hands at your side and then bring them up to add the body language to your speech when necessary, and when you're not using them, put them back down by your side, again, you are going to be an amazing speaker. People are going to think you've been speaking for years by doing these few small things, avoiding these few small mistakes. The third most common mistake I have seen from new speakers is distracting the audience with your notes. Now, it is very difficult to speak in front of a group, and we have this feeling that we have to write out all sorts of notes in case we forget what we're going to talk about. And it's understandable to have that fear and to want to write everything out, but you're much better off to practice without reading all of your notes. Because if you're standing in front of a crowd and you're simply looking down and reading your notes word for word as you talk to them and never lifting your eyes to make eye contact, that's not an enjoyable experience for the audience to sit through. It's much more engaging when you're looking at different people in the eyes and you're using your hands rather than holding notes to utilize body language. That is what makes a great speaker. But so many new speakers, they stand and they hold their notes and they read exactly what they've written. One way to avoid this is in your notes or on your cue cards to simply have a couple of words that triggers the category or the concept that you're going to talk about rather than all of the words word for word. Another example of this, so many people have given speeches about themselves growing up and talking about the hometown they were raised in. That's not something you need to read word for word. You know that story very well in your own head. Instead of writing that out word for word, simply put my childhood in and then insert the city or the town that you grew up in. Those 4 words rather than the paragraphs verbatim of what your experience was, that's going to trigger you to tell a particular story. And the next cue card can be the next concept or idea you want to talk about. So you can practice linking these things together, but don't write out all of the notes word for word. Or if you're going to do that, okay, great, but still practice with the cue cards that give you a few words. That way, if you panic, if you get stage fright and you completely forget what you wanted to talk about, you've got the notes that you can grab off of the podium and then you can revert back. Worst case scenario, you can go and read those words verbatim, but you'll be surprised that once you get in the zone, it's going to be much easier when you're simply talking about categories of your speech rather than trying to memorize a whole page of text. The final mistake that brand new speakers make so often is this idea of winging it. Everyone loves the idea of the person who can stand up with no preparation at all and deliver this amazing speech. But the truth is, most of us, myself included, we need to practice. And even the people who are great at winging it, I am convinced that if they practiced a bit more, their speech would be even that much better as well. Practice is so important because it's going to build your confidence. You're going to remember all of the things you want to incorporate into the speech. Also, by adding another element like recording yourself or perhaps presenting in front of a family member or a friend, you are going to get feedback, whether it's yourself watching the video recording or the friend giving you direct feedback of maybe words that you use that don't need to be in there, like those filler words we talked about earlier, or maybe you have tendencies you don't even know. Maybe your hand goes in your pocket, maybe you tap your foot as you're speaking. We all have these little different things we do without thinking as we speak. And those people who are watching or us witnessing it on camera are going to be able to eliminate those things from our speech. Therefore, we are going to come across as an experienced speaker. That should be your goal as a brand new speaker, to fool everyone, make everyone in the audience think that you have given many presentations before. And by avoiding those 4 mistakes, you're gonna be well on your way. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this content, I do other videos about speaking and Toastmasters and communication. So hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on. And if you liked this particular video, then like it. Hit that like button, comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Anyways, I hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you next time.